Do you miss playing Dungeons & Dragons, or just have a hard time finding a group in your hometown? Maybe you just wish you could play more. On Discord, we created a community of over 100 people who are playing D&D around the clock. By integrating Discord and D&D Beyond, we're able to provide an immersive experience that is the first of its kind. You can create a character from 1st to 15th level, and then roleplay 24/7 in our Discord channels while combating monsters, crafting weapons, training new skills, and searching for items across our campaign world. You'll also have the chance to participate in random combat encounters and go on monthly virtual quests. Ever wanted to try your hand at being a Dungeon Master? Or maybe you're an experienced Dungeon Master and just want the chance to run more adventures. As a community DM, you can run encounters and virtual quests for the community based on monthly modules written by our very own accomplished plot team. Join us.
Join us.
Check it out.
Join the Discord.
Join us.
Join us.
And let's create incredible stories together.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 13 of Into the Mist. This is season 5. We're so excited to be back. We've taken a bit of a hiatus. We had to move studios and take care of a bunch of stuff, and con season has started, so it's gotten really busy. But we are here in our temporary new studio. We're building one as we speak, and so we're very excited to be back in the action, and very, very excited to have you all with us. We're gonna get through announcements as usual, super quick, and then get back to the Dawnbringers trying to get away from Castle Ravenloft. Our channel sponsor, World Anvil. We want to thank World Anvil for their continued support. They have been incredible through this season. World Anvil is an amazing online tool for creating narrative and lore for your tabletop RPG campaigns. You can add all of that stuff very, very easily at worldanvil.com. If you use the promo code RealmSmith, you will get a deal on a yearly subscription. I think it's like 50% off a year or something like that. So check that out, worldanvil.com. Also want to thank Forged Gaming, our other channel sponsor. Forged creates awesome premium tabletop accessories for your TTRPG games and experiences. They created our official dice. We have them right here. Let's see if this works. We'll do that. I don't know if it's still... Aha! Not bad. These are our official Into the Mist dice, and they are pretty awesome and amazing, and they jingle and make all kinds of noises, and they come in a nifty little leather case with the Into the Mist logo and all of that stuff. So check that out. They also have a ton of other stuff, including they are currently in pre-launch of a Kickstarter for this GM screen. Myself and Joel and the few people at RealmSmith designed this screen for them. They came to us and said, hey, if you could design a product for us, what would that be? And I said, listen, it has to be a Dungeon Master screen. So check it out at theultimategamemaster.com. You can sign up for email, and you'll get all the information that you need in order to join our private design group. We're still in the midst of designing it, but the launch page, the intro page, the pre-campaign page on Kickstarter is live. Just look for The Ultimate Game Master on Kickstarter now, because we are getting very close to, or they are getting very close to launching the campaign, and we're very excited to support them in it and see our creation come to life. So thank you to Forged Gaming for that. Syrinscape is really awesome too. They have an online tool and a local tool for creating ambience and sound effects. You can hear it right now, obviously. We love the sad trombone as usual. I've got Syrinscape right here actually on our, this is like worlds colliding, but this is the device, the tablet holder for, and it has Syrinscape on it, and so I'm using the tablet holder right now from our GM screen for that. If I can get this back on here, of course the tablet holder is magnetic and it just kind of snaps back on. So putting it all to use, love it. And of course our series sponsor, as usual, Beetle and Grimm's. Beetle and Grimm's is an incredible company that creates premium boxed sets for your favorite adventures. Through this entire campaign, we've been using the Curse of Strahd Legendary Edition. We will be giving one of these away by the end of this season. So we only have 4 episodes left. This is episode 13, so very excited about that. Thank you to Beetle and Grimm as usual. Check them out at beetleandgrimms.com. A bunch of events coming up. I'll go through real quick. The first one is in June, GameCon Canada. We have a main stage show Friday night, and Nora and Omega have already been announced to be joining us, and Joel will also hopefully be joining us, and so we're very, very excited about that. We don't know what we're playing yet, but we will be there, and you'll have the opportunity. GameCon Canada is an amazing, huge Western Canada con, the first of its kind. It's year 1, and they're expecting like 40,000 to 60,000 people. So you can go to you can use the promo code GCC RealmSmith at their website to be able to get a deal on your tickets and your passes to come to the show. It's going to be awesome. It is a video game and TTRPG con all in one. D3 at Sea. Let's go D&D in the Castle first. D&D in the Castle is happening in July. My table is full. Aaron will be joining me as well as some other awesome folks. shout out to Vinny, who was with me last year, who's also going to be at the table along with Aaron, and then some new folks that I haven't met yet, and I'm very excited to meet and enjoy. But other GMs have spots, so please check it out, dndinthecastle.com. It's an amazing experience. It's fun, and heck, you get to play 24 hours of Dungeons and Dragons in a castle in England, which is amazing. And then, of course, D3 at Sea in October 29th and November 4th. We're sailing to Bermuda. We've already announced, let me get this right, Cadiasaurus, Omega, and myself, and I think that's the three.
That's it.
What's that?
That's it.
Yeah, that's all we've announced so far. So we will be announcing a few more. Thank you, Omega. We will be announcing a few more over the
Don't
next...
say it.
Thank you. Over the next few weeks. Timey-wimey, trying to figure it out. But yeah, we'll be announcing more. Stay tuned. It's an amazing experience. It's a great TTRPG adventure opportunity. And so check that out at d3etsy.com. A couple general notes. We have an awesome Discord. You saw that at the beginning with the ad. If you want to join the war or the battle for Barovia, you can join the new Beresians who fight alongside us. This episode, actually, you'll hear a lot more about what they've been doing and how all that plays. But basically, they play a narrative that is alongside of our stream. They are currently, right now, prepping New Berez and fighting the battle for Barovia while the Dawnbringers spent their time frolicking in Castle Ravenloft over the last 4 episodes or so. Another way to support us is through merch. You can check it out below the video. You'll get a link where you can go check out our merch store. We have lots of new stuff that we've launched in the last couple weeks or last couple months. You can check that out. Thank you to our Smith Guardians and our Realm Watchers. They keep our community safe. They look out for us. A huge thank you to those folks, Omega being one of them. Also, if you like what you see today, consider subscribing and sharing and all of that fun stuff. I do have actually a big box of goodies. You know what? I'm going to just show it right off real quick. I was going to do this earlier, but I've decided here. I got this in the mail. It's a little late. It is a massive chest of goodies from Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves. I did an unboxing on our channel. You can check that out. But there's lots of really cool things in it. And I wanted to give... Joel, I'm just going to... This is... Here. Monopoly. I played this with the family. It was a lot of fun, actually. And then we have a big dragon toy. Really super cool. Awesome. I was going to give you the red dragon crossbow to shoot other people at the table, but I'm not going to because you'll be just shooting me. So that's not going to be fun. And then what I will do, though, is give you some Dungeons & Dragons chocolate. What? Yeah. I have it in here somewhere. Oh, there it is. We have 2 types of chocolate in here. Wow. Anyways, for all the stuff in here, check it out on our unboxing. Sure, there's some chocolate there.
I'm happy to eat it all.
Enjoy. What flavors are they, Joel?
They are milk chocolate mystery flavor.
Here, show them that stuff. Milk chocolate mystery flavor.
And then snowy owlbear crunch.
Hopefully it doesn't taste like a mimic, because that'd be weird. Wow. And snowy owlbear crunch. Anyways. Thank you to Dungeon Dragons for sending that out. I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I know Joel thoroughly enjoyed the movie. It was a lot of fun, and it was the movie we wanted and didn't know we needed from D&D, and it felt like watching a party kind of stumble their way through adventure, much like ours does.
Yep.
One quick note before we start. 4 years ago today, we found out that our good friend and cast member Todd had taken his own life. And ever since then, we've kind of committed this show and committed ourselves to raising awareness about mental health. And so if you're out there and if you're feeling lonely or sad or need somebody to talk to, please reach out and talk to them. You just never know. And for those of you who are here, who know people are having a hard time, even if you think they are, reach out. Tell them you love them. Tell them you appreciate them. Make sure that you love each other. You know, it's easy to do all of the woulda, coulda, shouldas and all of this kind of stuff. But really, we just do all we can to raise awareness and to say thank you to Todd for being in our lives as long as he was. And I know that he'd be proud of us here together. So without further ado, let us venture into the mists. All right, welcome back. Hello, cast. Hope y'all are doing well. We are a smaller cast today, of course, and it is Brandon's birthday today.
It is.
Actually, so happy birthday out to Brandon.
Happy birthday.
AKA Sterling. But it's a nice, intimate gathering today of Dawnbringers, and I love it. All right, last we left you all, you were escaping Castle Ravenloft. You managed and were successful in retrieving the Sun Sword from the sarcophagi buried deep below the castle from Strahd's brother's body. And as you were fleeing the castle after much hoopla, is that the word?
Yeah.
Yeah, not the word I was looking for. Hoopla is a good thing. There wasn't a lot of good things. You went looking for Esmeralda, as well as Travas. You did not find Travas, and so you had to leave the castle without retrieving him and heading back to New Berez, where you will find out, or want to find out, what the next step is. As you were traversing, not traversing because he's not with you, as you were traversing the courtyard outside of Ravenloft, gargoyles began to animate and close in on your position. Lowholt, in that moment, sprung his Pegasus and was able to mount it and take off and distract the gargoyles for the time being, as you were able to make a bit more progress towards the gate. Noggins turned into a giant eagle, and Sterling and Falfer jumped on board, and you all flew out, and actually flew out the gate and to the other side of the bridge, correct, Noggins?
Yes, we flew completely over and we were landing at the other side of the bridge.
Yes, okay. You are currently on the other side of the bridge. You now land as you are awaiting the rest of your party to join you. Aster, Esmeralda, Roan, and Dimitri are currently hoofing it on foot out of the courtyard. As you all are running towards the exit or the gate, you see and you notice that fog or mist is beginning to flood in over the walls and into the courtyard quite rapidly. Not just naturally, but it is beginning to flood in. It is starting to come out of the doors and under the crevices of Castle Ravenloft, and it seems like it is taking chase behind you.
Do we see this from outside the gate?
Give me a perception check on that.
I should probably have my character sheet open. That's a thought.
What's that?
So I should probably have my character sheet open.
Yeah, maybe, you know, whatever. We're playing some dur.
Just make up your stats. It's fine.
Yes, 18.
Right.
Okay, 18 for you.
Oh, we're all doing perception?
Just those that are on the other side of the.
Oh.
So me and I gotta do it in the eagle form. Hold on. No, I don't. I'm wild shaping. I do it in mine. Wait, hold on, y'all. Rules for wild shape. My statistics understand. Yeah, okay, yeah, it's all me.
Cat butt.
Oh, that's a 13.
13. Okay. So I would say you do not notice it, but you fell for absolute. Well, you notice that it's foggier out here than it has been.
Okay.
You notice that it's creeping up the side of the walls and over the side of the walls currently. It's creeping up the
Noggins, check it out. The mist over the walls.
Yeah, and when he says that, you notice that, and you do notice that it's starting to creep in that area towards the castle, but it is not coming towards you on the other side of that bridge.
I'm an eagle, so I can't talk to you unless you can understand that.
Yeah.
Understood. I mean, not understood.
Esmeralda, Aster, what do you do?
So this is headed towards, like, just...
Yeah, so you're heading, you see the gate, you see the opening. You're about, I'd say about 100 feet from that gate, which leads to the bridge across, and you see that there is fog pouring in over the walls and creeping up and taking chase behind you.
I am dashing towards that, towards freedom.
Yep.
Picking up the pace.
Okay.
Could I, since Falford's good and Sterling was on my back, I just drop Sterling. Just I'm on the floor. Could I fly back towards at least Esmeralda? I don't know if I still see Aster. I know they were stealthing before, but I don't know if they are now.
Yeah, I think they just broke out into a run, and so I'm assuming at this point time is of the essence, Aster?
Yeah, we kind of gave up on the going quietly.
Yeah, and also with Blade's song, it would be 40 feet. Speed would be 40 feet, not 30, for if that...
Okay, so you go 80 feet.
Yes.
Okay, so you are now 20 feet from the gate. Noggins, are you going to fly in through the gate, or are you going to stop at the gate on the bridge?
I would like to fly in. I know this fog mist, whatever's coming, but I would like to, go over and try to grab the first one I can see.
Yeah. As you kind of skid to a halt, a giant eagle that you know is Noggins, colorful, kind of swoops up over and down and grabs you. I'm assuming you allow that.
Which one?
Massive
Me?
talon. Yes, Esmeralda.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And at that point, you wait a moment as Aster and the rest of them catch up. At this moment, you notice that the fog has quickly, and it is like outpacing the rest of the party. You watch as Dimitri gets kind of engulfed, as does Roan at the back of the party. Aster, you reach Noggins, and Noggins, I'm assuming you grab onto Aster with your other talon, or somehow.
If anything, if we stopped, I would have gestured for Esmeralda that I could get on my back, and then I could grab.
Great.
Aster. Yeah.
Great. That fog is moments from overtaking you, Noggins. What do you do?
I book it. I have a flying speed of 80 feet, so if I dash, that's 160. I'm just...
Okay. So you kind of crouch into it and lift your wings up so you can swoop right up. As you do, you feel a clutch on your leg, on your talon, like a gauntleted. And as you take off, you pull Dimitri out of the fog as he holds on just barely. Roan nowhere in sight. You swoop up over the wall, back onto the bridge, across the bridge, and you with a lot of weight currently, kind of like clamber down beside Falfer and Sterling, and you are all currently on the other side of the bridge. You watch as almost like tendrilled hands wrap around the outside of the door, almost like feeling and grabbing. You watch as like tendrils of mist grab over the wall towards in that direction, and then they kind of recede, and the fog quickly recedes and dissipates as you look on to Castle Ravenloft. What do y'all do?
Well, that was close.
Is anyone severely injured? How do we? And as I'm like looking around at the party and just kind of the scene that we just witnessed, can I make an Arcana check to see what Esmeralda would know about the nature of these mists in Ravenloft?
Yeah, sure.
To see what how hopeful are we?
Yeah, you know, because you've experienced it, you've done a lot of research. I wouldn't even need you to do a check on this, as Esmeralda would just know, especially with her connection to Van Richten, and all that you've been through together. You know that spending prolonged time in the mist will kill you. It slowly chips away, and you gain, in-game terms, levels of exhaustion until it saps you of all of your life. Now, the mists sometimes take different forms. It grabbed you from Argynvostholt and took you to Castle Ravenloft. And so you didn't die then. You just blacked out and then came to in the dungeon. So there are obviously different iterations and basically whatever Strahd's will is, but they are dangerous.
Let's hope that wherever they may end up, that they can catch up to us soon.
Either way, I don't think we should stay here.
No.
We cannot leave Ron. Never mind. Sorry. No, we are leaving Ron behind. Is that what we're doing?
Well, it's not like... I already realized that we've left Travas behind, but as far as Ron, we don't even know where he is.
Yeah.
Even if we go into those mists, we don't know that we're going to end up in the same spot that he is.
That's true.
Noggins hears all of this, kind of like make sure shakes everybody off if everybody's not off yet. And he's just going to take off into the air and essentially do a big, if possible, do a big loop around the castle.
Yeah.
See if he can see anyone.
Sure, investigation check.
Three.
Okay, no. You do notice, the one thing you do notice is that headless, bodiless suit of armor clambering back up the rooftops towards the kind of the peak of one of the towers. And you do see some of the gargoyles starting to settle back in their spot.
Okay.
But otherwise, you see no sign of anything else or anyone else.
I don't even see a individual on a griffin thing, whatever it was.
No.
Okay.
You do notice those gargoyles starting to return in the distance, though. But there is no sign of Loholt in the distance.
Okay. Cool, great. Yeah, he will fly back, land, and do I want to get out of my wild shape? I probably should. I don't want to, though. I will land, kind of ruffle my feathers again, and then immediately zonk out and hit the ground. And immediately, the minute I fall asleep, I immediately revert back into Noggins.
Okay.
Of fake coloring and stuff. I was like,
okay.
Thank you, Noggins.
Nothing. You saw nothing.
No. The gargoyle things are coming back though. I don't know if that means they, what's his name, got away, or they ate him, or I don't know. But they're coming back, and I don't see Roan either.
I mean, we cannot stay here.
As you do look around too, obviously overcast, you guess it's like approaching late afternoon to early evening.
Well, we should get going because we don't want to be stuck in the middle of nowhere when it gets dark.
Where's the nearest
agree.
place that we can settle into?
Well, there was the trees, the woods that was right outside of the gate. That's where we rested before. We can go back there. I can put a little bit of a shield or something, so we can, I guess, be unseen a little bit while we rest.
You need about, so just so everyone's aware, it's about 45 minutes to an hour back to Argynvostholt and New Barrett.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Never mind.
You're not far at all.
Okay, so we could make it back before the
Home?
day's end.
I mean, Barovia in general is not very large, so.
Yeah, I can at least make sure that we aren't followed, or we're not. We can get away a little unseen.
That would be useful.
That would be
yes.
for the best.
Yeah, I will take my sickle and I'll start to draw around everyone's feet, whispering in Sylvan. And as I finish the incantation, I'll pull that essence from my mind and throw it at everybody else's feet, and I'll cast Pass Without Trace.
Very good.
Is anyone hurt?
I'm all right.
Ezzy? Astar?
I'm not too bad.
Okay. Onward then.
And are you hurt?
I'm not. It seems I'm fine. I forget if that happened automatically or if I I forget what happened, to be honest. It's a little bit of a blur.
I think something about you told you to mentally rest for a long time without needing to mentally rest for a long time.
You've got it.
Yeah, okay. We should go.
Dimitri
Yeah, agreed.
looks a little battered and states that he's a little battered.
Oh, okay. I will stop it. He'll like pat your hand, Falfer. And I'll literally just kind of like whistle, and as I do, that Fey magic kind of emulate from me and wrap around him, and I'll use the rest of my Balm of the Summer Court on him. Doesn't really matter too much, but it's going to be 5d6. I'm going to be healing him, plus 5 temp HP. So he'll feel somewhat better, unless I were to roll all ones on my d6s. Then he wouldn't. But I will. You know what? Let me get. Why not? We are here to roll dice, so I might as well just roll these. Whoa, that's 2 5s. Great. That is a 13, and then that is. Oh, okay, 13. 20 hit points, 20 HP back, plus 5 temp. That's not bad. So I go. Cheer up. We got to get back. And if we get hurt again, you're definitely standing in front, so you should not be hurt. We'll like pat him on his back and keep walking.
Okay. All right. You all start back towards New Barrett and Argynvostholt. All right. As you start to walk, you notice that even this time of day, I mean, typically in Barovia, when night begins to settle in, you do notice that traveling is kind of continues until dusk, until like it really changes, and then it stops. Nobody's walking the roads anymore at that time. It is noticeably empty currently, like creepily empty, devoid of travelers. You travel the full half hour or so into your travel. You haven't seen a single traveler on the road. As you continue on, you start to see Argynvostholt in the distance on the hill. Is there anything you'd like to do before you arrive?
Do we notice any other footsteps, tracks? Is it like
Survival check.
completely devoid? Yeah, sure. Survival check coming. That will be a 12.
Okay. With the 12, there is no, I'm going to say just with the 12, there is no casual travel, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So typically, if you were to look at the mud or the tracks, and here it's always kind of damp and gross, so it's always fairly easy to track, especially on the roads. You notice that there isn't like cart traffic or like one or two people walking. You do notice anytime there's travel, it's more than one. So larger groups of folks as you go.
There are not many passing through here, that's for sure, right now.
That's a little different.
And this being the
Not
main
sure if that's good or bad.
thoroughfare, obviously. Sorry.
Do we, I guess, just continue on?
Yeah. Yes. We should probably pick up the pace even, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, if it looks like there hasn't been anyone around, let's take the opportunity.
Could
Anything else?
Could I, as we're kind of talking and thinking about this, just the first thing that Noggins thinks of is to look at like the grass or maybe a flower or something. Does it seem like since they've left, the state of the flora in Barovia has gotten worse?
Interesting. Nature check.
I'm going to guidance myself. Okay. Oh, not bad actually. That is a 21.
Okay. Woof. With a 21, the fauna around the main roads looks less trampled, less traveled. So it looks, even in the last couple days that you've been gone. Sorry?
You said the fauna.
All the animals.
All the animals are just
I mean the wild. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Flora.
The flora, not the fauna.
I got you.
Different. Two different things.
Get black.
Both F words. I have another F word for you. Yeah, no. So yeah, the flora is slightly, and you would only know this being a druid and rolling a 21, that it seems more overgrown than you typically would be in the last 2 days. And so there isn't any change in it. It doesn't look like it's improved necessarily over the last couple days, but it definitely looks less traveled. Less broken branches, less things that would be caused by, wagons crossing, things like that. You absolutely, as you look out into Argynvostholt, and you all can see the shimmering barrier that still exists, this bubble that exists around New Berez and Argynvostholt. You do notice that in there, it is absolutely slightly more vibrant than it was 2 days ago. And you can see that area and the swamp in the distance, you can see that is starting to grow back. Things are starting to kind of change a little bit within that bubble.
Do we get a sense?
Do you share that information, Omega, or are you?
Yeah, how dare you read my mind, Falfer? No, I think he'll just like pick up some grass and kind of like sniff it, probably like eat it.
Yeah.
Just
I look at him and go, "What's different?"
No.
I don't.
That was great.
a little more tangy. It just looks like stuff has grown more. Maybe like sometimes it can't grow because too much stuff happening. It looks like nothing's happening because he like points at probably a pretty large. Are sunflowers in Barovia? There are now because they die immediately. But no, I don't know, just feels different. It looks like it's nice in there though.
Yeah, what do you think's going on?
I don't know.
Seems strange.
I don't know if it's because we've been traveling for so long, but I'm more wary almost that something is almost nicer.
Yes, it's kind of, it's a weird signal for consternation. It's like, why would things start getting better? Are they someone holding back, or I don't know, it's strange.
Well, let's get there and see if anything's happened inside.
All right.
Also, I could eat. after I wash off all this muck off of me.
You can see him reaching into his pouch to get some seeds.
Nope.
Like,
I'm full, thanks.
No. Thank you, though.
they are so ungrateful. See, next time they die, oh, oops, I don't have any more ability to heal because I healed through carrot bacon.
You only heal through carrot bacon.
Believe me, no one gets healed through carrot bacon.
No.
No, and he gets stomps off.
I love it. I love it. All right. As you start to approach the barrier, you cross through, and there is, it's a familiar feeling now. As you cross through, there is a warmth in this barrier that doesn't exist outside of it. There's not any sun, or it isn't any brighter, but as soon as you walk through, the air seems clearer. You do notice the grass is slightly greener. Even the last 2 days, you see a noticeable change in the surrounding area within this. You do also notice that as you climb the hill to Argynvostholt, as you look past it down into the swamps of Berez, you do notice that there has already been progress in the last 2 days since you were here last from the new Berezians. You've noticed that they've started to build a wall, and they've started chopping trees and actually creating a wall around New Berez. You see some of the buildings beginning to get rejuvenated and rebuilt, and there's quite the hubbub right now of preparation and building within that. You also do notice that even in the last 2 days, I'm going to give you this as well as a freebie for that 21 Omega, you've noticed that the water level in the marsh has begun to kind of recede slightly. And so it looks like it's almost like not being a marsh anymore. Like it's starting to change. As you approach Argynvostholt, immediately Godfrey comes out the front door. And he looks at all of you and he waves you in quite hurriedly, and he turns and he heads back in through the front door.
Something to say.
I guess we follow
Yeah.
him.
Sure, but they work fast.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. 2 days. I mean, I'd hire them again for sure. Maybe the kitchen next time.
Oh, I gotta check on my. Okay, I'll do it after. Like, makes a mental note to check on his garden.
Mm-hmm. Well, Esmeralda's like, nobody better have touched my stuff.
So what do you think this crazy thing with Godfrey is? He seems pretty hurried to get us in there. Hopefully everything's okay.
I think we should find out. Seems urgent.
Did he seem worried, or just seem like get your butts in here?
Hurried.
Oh, no,
Like,
yeah.
like, even without a perception check or an insight, I would say that you sense that he's happy to see you. He's relieved to see you, but let's get in here and talk.
Okay. Sounds like business needs to happen.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Maybe he just needs to. Maybe it's Argynvostholt, Lord person, him. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
As you enter Argynvostholt, you are greeted by the familiar foyer, and it is now very much feeling like home. There is a sense of relief, a sense of safety, a sense of this is your newfound home, at least for the time here in Barovia. You have spent a lot of time rejuvenating and renovating and bringing it back somewhat to its former glory, and so you do get a sense of accomplishment as you come in here. Aster, obviously for you, that isn't quite the same. This is a new place for you. I don't even know, did you pick a room?
I think she had one. I don't think she ever really established herself. Like, it was a place to sleep.
Yeah.
And no more.
Yeah. So as you cross the foyer, you see Godfrey kind of zip into the dining room where you typically meet. And as you start to approach that doorway, you do hear that there is a conversation currently taking place. And as you kind of enter the room, you see that Argynvost is sitting typical where he would at the head of the table. And to his right, you see Madame Eva, and Godfrey kind of walks in and takes his spot at kind of the foot of the table on the opposite side. And Noggins, immediately with your true sight ability, you see Vladimir standing just behind him in his ghostly form at his shoulder.
It's the gay for me. Sorry, continue. my Godfrey heart. Happy Pride Month. Okay.
Argynvostholt stands as you all enter, and he says, good. I am glad. I'm glad that you are all safe. We were starting to worry. Please, come in.
So Falfer will walk in, see the table. Is there a bowl of fruit in the middle of the table?
Sure, there's always something to pick from.
Okay, so goes to the bowl of fruit, grabs an apple, throws it up in the air, takes a big bite. What's the news?
Well, first, you must all be tired and hungry. I just want to talk and gain some insight on what you found and how that went, and I'll give you a little bit of an update on our side too. It's been only a few days, but lots of progress has been made towards our ends. Godfrey, please, if we could maybe get some food. Everyone's hungry, I assume. Please. And Godfrey.
No, they told me they weren't really hungry because the only thing we had available was carrot bacon, and they're allergic to that. Even though I have a plethora of things in my garden, I don't think that they are allowed to eat it because it's already been contaminated by said carrot bacon.
Bring it all. Bring
Godfrey,
everything.
even undead, not needing to eat, goes, I'll be right back. And he kind of turns and he walks out hurriedly, sensing the urgency.
Quick question before we continue. Roan, has he made it back to Argynvostholt?
He has not. Is he not with you? I thought maybe he retired. And what of Travas?
Well, and then Esmeralda goes into the fastest and extremely detailed recap of everything that's happened in the entire time we've been in the castle. Which is why I absolutely need a bath and yes, something to eat. But yeah, Baron did not make it. No.
He kind of looks down, he looks sad, he says,
well, we don't know if he's dead. He tends to, do his whole, and he takes his vest and puts it over his head.
Yeah.
He's like, I am the darkness and I will be myself, and I will catch up later.
That's a really good impression, by the way. Really good.
Oh, thanks. I got used to it at this point. But no, I don't. We don't know where he went.
We're hoping he's not too far away and will be able to find his way back home.
Godfrey re-enters the room with a platter of, my daughter calls it charcuterie, basically salted meats and veggies and cheeses and so on, kind of what he was able to kind of prep quite quickly, and places it down in front of you as well with kind of a picture of what smells like a sweet wine, and hands out mugs to everyone, and he nods and he sits back down.
Delightful.
I might cry.
Madame Eva turns to all of you and she says, it is very upsetting that Travas is nowhere to be found.
And
You
this is where
heard
you see
him.
Esmeralda's face just
You
sink.
sensed him.
Couldn't find him. I heard his voice. I don't know if it was him.
I will take some time and I will search the fates to see what they have to say. Perhaps there is still hope for them. Argynvostholt speaks up and he says, so you have the sword.
Dmitri, produce the sword.
And
Sterling has it now.
Yeah.
Oh, Sterling.
Yeah. And Sterling
You
kind of says,
instead.
"Oh, I have it."
Oh,
And
sorry.
he kind of reaches in and he takes it out, which is over there. I don't have it. I should have it
so
with
not
me
attentive.
or right here. And he takes out. He says, "Though I don't know how to use it yet, but I will learn." And Argynvost kind of nods, and you see kind of this reverence settle in the room. And you see like a glimmer of hope shine over Madame Eva's face as her eyes go wide. And Argynvost says, "You have accomplished what I believed was near impossible. Your bravery and your will to succeed has served us all very well. That sword will be beneficial in the coming weeks and months."
They will sing songs about us,
Perhaps,
right?
perhaps if we all survive. Yes, Noggins.
I should point out that Steve definitely knows that we probably stole that. When we were inside, when we were getting it, I thought it would be smart to maybe make sure he wasn't like, around the corner or something, ready to like bite us, because that would suck. And when I did, he definitely realized I was looking directly at him, because he started looking directly at me and my brain follicles, and it was really weird, and I got really scared. And then when we tried to leave, like the mist stuff tried to like grab onto us. So I think he knows that we took something. So that means he might try to attack or something. So we should probably be prepared.
The devil is always lurking around the corner. Not these corners. I don't think he's allowed
Actual corner.
in the barrier. The barrier of which I'm still trying to understand. Some, I believe, think I caused it. I did not. It just happened when I came back.
What happened?
It seems as though the area within the barrier is starting to revitalize. I don't understand why. But things are beginning
Esmeralda,
to grow.
like, I'm sorry, just like as an aside to Falfer's, like, she's the psychic.
Yes. Use the skills at hand, my friend. Right? Like I'm talking back in the side voice. Come on.
I do not know how long the barrier will last. I do not control it. I did not create it, so therefore I do not know when it may fall away, recede. If it does it grow? I do not know.
So Argynvost, you're saying that this shield we have around us, it's not of your making?
No, just as much as the beacon was not of my making. It was just a byproduct of my essence, of my existence. And it seems as though the beacon, which gave everyone who welcomed it hope and protection when I was slumbering, has now given hope and protection to those that surround it and are of good heart and are not allied with the Dark One.
Curious question then. Is there any way for the evil to get inside? Or if we make it stronger, does it repel evil? Can we grow?
Yeah, how impenetrable is this? Impenetrable force.
It is appeared to be quite, and anything that is aligned or allied with the dark powers or the evil one is not allowed inside. It almost like judges their motives.
I turn to the others. I turn to the others and go, maybe that's why Rowan isn't here.
Hey. I mean, but maybe, yes.
But maybe. Bad thing, because this is not my strong suit. However, because he's saying that he didn't make it, the this kind of metaphysical power just existing, and it doesn't seem to exist in any like natural arcana forms. I think that actually just kind of this thing. Is there any way for Noggins to ascertain what it actually is, considering his magic is also a little more metaphysical?
Arcana check.
I said it's a bad thing for me to do because I still have a -1, but I'm going to try regardless with some guidance as he's talking. That's a natural 19.
Ooh.
-1 plus 4 is a 22.
Okay. With the 22, obviously protection magic, you're familiar with it, barriers, that sort of thing. Sometimes there are creatures that are so powerful that they have an essence that has abilities and things outside of their like physical capabilities or what they're able to will. You know that the area around dragons, depending on the type of dragon they are, have a certain essence. So you think that maybe from what he's saying that this is just a product of him existing and his presence back on the physical plane.
Oh, that's smart. Oh, okay. He kind of just like stares at Argynvostholt for a while, I think, and you actually almost see like thought bubbles forming. And as they do, you kind of see like Argynvostholt in like all of his glory. Like this very like majestic type of dragon. It's probably you. Like you, not like something you did. Just like you're like this big strong dragon. Then you're like, dragons have like layers and stuff. Maybe this is just your layer, and maybe your area just is better because you're better.
At that, Falford just starts. So stupid. That can't be right. It's what?
He's probably right. I did not cause it, and it did just happen when I came to being, and so I assume that is potentially you. I think you are correct, Noggins.
I mean, of course. That's what.
Noggins like just goes to sit down and starts to eat. You can see he looks a little dejected, but he just sits down.
But in that case, if Noggins is correct, then your continued existence means our continued protection. If I'm understanding this correctly.
That is the hope.
Wait, does it also mean that if you come with us anywhere, that we would also be protected within that space?
That's what I was concerned about. Like, if you move, does it also move with you?
It does not. It seems to be surrounding Argynvostholt, and
I'm okay with that, honestly. I don't want to be too greedy with the.
Yeah. In life, before I took to slumber, my lair was surrounded by certain my essence. It affected the world around it, and I think, as Noggins has said, maybe this is the same. I hadn't considered that. It has only been a few days.
Well,
as you can see, you probably noticed, the new Beresians have begun to build and fortify. They have built quite a bit of the wall, and the plan is to build some towers and some other defenses in case the barrier comes down, and preparing for the coming battle and the coming war. They have also begun to take ground. We have established the need to create or establish some forward operating outposts throughout Barovia that we can then launch defensive and offensive counterattacks and countermeasures to what Strahd is doing. We do not know yet. We know that it is mustering. We know that he is mustering forces. We have heard rumblings of him gathering forces and powers, even potentially from other realms, in order to take this land back. But our good people have established 2 outposts, one west of the Solenka Pass in the western Svalak Woods, and the other just north of Lake Zarovich and just south of the mountains. And they will continue to do that. We have targeted 9, specifically 9 areas that we want to control, or at least have a presence or an outpost in that we can then operate from. He then turns to Dmitri and he says, Dmitri, I require you for some things as a knight of the order and my champion. We will speak privately after this about some of the things that are required of you. He says, well, all right. That was bad. That was horrible. That was like
You can try it again.
that was like Barney.
That was like goofy.
I don't know what happened there. I had it all prepped in my brain. It was working, and then when it hit my lips, it didn't quite come out the way that I had hoped it would. That's horrible.
It sounded like a damn horse from My Little Pony.
That wasn't good. Sorry. Sorry, Adam.
One more time.
Flip it and reverse it.
Yeah. To the rest of you, he says,
flabbergasted.
well, to the rest of you, I think that some rest would do you well. You have been taxed the last few days. I can see it on you. I can see it on your spirits and on your bodies. Please, retire to your quarters.
Just one more question, if I may.
Yes.
With this barrier, we know from being in the castle and from our travels, we know that Strahd is everywhere and can see things that what we're doing. But do you think that this barrier can also somehow shield us from him even seeing that we're fortifying the place? Can he see all of these preparations?
We are not sure. I'm assuming him and his denizens can see into the barrier as much as we can see out. I do not know if he is able to scry or if he is able to see inside as he could before. That is not determined yet.
Right.
But he is clearly aware that it exists, as it is a blight
Right.
on his land, as he would see it.
We should operate under the assumption that he does know then.
I agree. Better to be safe.
But as I mentioned, take some time. Once the 9 outposts are established, then we will head to the next phase. You must have potentially some unfinished business you can take care of, but take some time. I will not rush your rest. I will not rush your time. Do what you must. Aster, you are welcome here in Argynvostholt. You have proven an ally. You wouldn't be within this barrier if you were not.
Thank you.
Of course. Well, with that, I will take my leave and take this information that you have given me and speak to my other advisors. On to it?
Yes. Thank you,
Yes.
Argynvostholt.
Of course. He nods and he turns around and he walks out. Madame Eva kind of follows out the front door, and Godfrey kind of turns and walks out the other door deeper into Argynvostholt. Welcome to level 10.
Hey.
You can go ahead and update your characters. We can actually do that live currently right now.
That's the way I did not see that happening. It was where I was like, I wonder if we level up. No, we're not going to level up.
He's not gonna let us do that.
All right, so you just came through Castle Ravenloft, absolutely. So take your time to do that. Some of you get some real fun things. As usual, we do narrative level ups. And so after a long rest or after a certain time when those things manifest, we will walk through them. But you can take the opportunities once you've long rested. You can take advantage of all of that stuff, but you won't really necessarily need those until then, as we do. As well, those of you who are at home and who are part of our Discord and who are part of our community, thank you for your patience during this hiatus, during us taking a little bit of time off from the stream, and for all your support. Without your support, we wouldn't be able to do this. Your patronage and your participation in this world and in this narrative and on Discord makes this so worth it for us, and we love you all so much. So for that, we are going to give you, for the first time ever, a bonus level up token outside of your monthly one that acts towards your level up right now. And so we are launching it as we speak, and it will be launched, and you will get it. And it'll be a cool kind of special edition token with the visage of Argynvostholt on it, as a thank you for everything that you have done over the last little while. Well, we've kind of tried to figure things out. And that is available to you now on Patreon, so you can check that out. Thank you. All right. As you all level up, you can decide to do what you want for the rest of this evening within Argynvostholt. You all have your own quarters. What is it that you would like to do? What to do?
Esmeralda is drawing a bath after being in all that gross flesh water.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Death water.
The death water. I forgot what I called it. It's been that long.
Yeah, there was like face
meats.
Face
meat.
Face meat.
Yeah.
Face
the
water.
death water with all the face meat in it.
Water with all the face meat. I would very much like to wash myself off from that and see if there are spare clothes that Esmeralda can wear.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I was deciding things.
No.
Yeah, the deciding thing is leveling up. Deciding things.
Yeah.
Noggin's is going to go to his garden.
Okay.
And make sure and do some general pruning of the thing. Kind of, he's gonna take a while there tonight for the night. He'll do some general pruning, make sure everything's fine. It's not overgrown, but it's one of the areas in New Berez or in the barrier that's more grown than most because he has blessed it every day with his what's this called? Plant growth spell.
Yeah.
Eventually he'll do druid growth here, but he didn't have that just yet. But yeah, he's going to start doing that, and then he's going to ask if one of the order members can take a basket of fresh fruits and vegetables to New Berez to the Wolfbane, so they have some more things replenished. Very cool. And I'll type up all what that will be. Awesome. But yeah, he'll make sure that goes to the Wolfbane.
Cool. Awesome. And for those of you at the Discord, this actually happened a while ago, and so timey-wiminess, the activity that is happening right now is only 2 days after they left back then. We're going to find time to make up the time after to catch up, but so these vegetables and fruits would have been delivered a while ago. All right. Okay, you head over to your garden. You give me a nature check, please.
Just die. 17.
Okay. You do notice that things obviously had a hard time growing in Barovia, period. Even with your plant growth spell, it didn't have the same effect previously, before the barrier, that it would normally. And even with that plant growth spell, plants and flowers that you expected to be like colorful and elegant and dainty actually grew somewhat dulled with thorns. And so things were growing differently here than they typically would. Over the last 2 days, you've noticed that things are growing the way that they used to, rather than the way that they have been in Barovia. And so since this barrier has existed, it seems as though your magic that you're using within the barrier is functioning the way it's supposed to, not the way that it has been in Barovia since you got here.
That definitely lifts his spirits. I think he notices like a bright blue flower or like a bright blue a leaf or something on one of the trees, and he just kind of, okay, well, this is good. At least my mom taught me right. Hopefully we keep doing that. I will actually. I lied because I don't have any spell slots until I long rest. I will make a point to come back out here and do a re-blessing just to make sure that it continues to thrive.
Sure, no problem.
But yeah, then I'll just take some time out here to just do me for a bit.
Yeah.
And then when I go to sleep, I want to do a thing, but that can happen later.
I would actually say that as you kind of sit and I imagine Noggins would like sit like almost like cross-legged, like and just kind of like start taking in. You smell the sweetness and the scents that come from this garden, and it starts to make you feel better than you have in a little while. And after coming out of the kind of the dank, dark nastiness that was Castle Ravenloft, you start to kind of get a bit of a sense of like joy. That you haven't felt in a little while being here in Barovia. As you start to kind of like get into this meditative state, as it were, as you're taking a little bit of time at your garden just to kind of like refocus, to kind of recenter yourself, as it were, you actually start to see what appears to be almost like glowing spores start to flit and flitter around the garden and around flowers. You almost see these almost like ghostly sort of semi-translucent flies, butterflies with glowing wings beginning to fly around. And you kind of like blink your eyes and you close your eyes and you squint and you realize that you're seeing a little bit into another dimension. Like you're like what you're seeing, these spores and the butterflies and these things that are kind of flitting and floating around remind you of the Feywild. Give you an essence and a feeling that you haven't felt in a little while. And in that moment, you're starting to kind of like get a connection to the Feywild that has been noticeably absent since you came to Barovia. In that time, and as you sit here, you start to get the sense that for the first time, again, since coming to Barovia, you get the sense that you can actually reach out and touch aspects of the Feywild. And that you can actually use it to travel, almost like hidden pathways, secret hidden pathways through time and space. And you are able to use it to teleport yourself from place to place. You get the sense that if you were to now, you could actually use it almost to like jaunt forward as your connection to the Feywild, even in this place that is closed off from it, begins to strengthen as you receive the Hidden Paths feature for your level. Aster. Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Noggins.
No, I was gonna say, I think just to take it, yes, and that I think he's like meditating and he essentially starts to daydream, not actually going to sleep, but like kind of just like going into a state that he's like kind of not really cognizant to the world. And I think when he comes back out of that, he doesn't even realize that he's like, like the Fae is just like another side of the doorway. He doesn't even realize he's moved. He gets like, comes back to, and he's 60 feet out. He goes,
love that.
Let me go back. But yeah, it's always going to be a daydream. I like that. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Aster, what do you do in this time?
Aster is going to, I think, just kind of wander out into the courtyard. And she's just going to find herself like a space where she can just sit quietly. And I would like to just kind of like not like verbally, but just in presence, like reach out, and I want to see if I can feel that like familiar presence of death and my warlock patron.
Okay. All right. I'm assuming you're taking a level in warlock, not in bard?
I am, yes.
As you kind of sit, and as you go out, there's kind of this weird, peaceful, quiet sereneness to Argynvostholt and the grounds. And as you look around, you actually see that there are ghostly soldiers and servants and helpers who were the previous inhabitants hundreds of years ago of Argynvostholt. And they kind of flit around the grounds, silently helping, silently building, silently sort of reestablishing it to its former glory. And you find sort of like a spot off at the top of the hill, kind of like on the edge, and it seems like the perfect kind of serene spot. How do you enter sort of this state? How do you approach this commune with your patron?
I think she kind of just sits quietly for a while, and we'll just kind of like watch these little like ghostly figures. And then I think after a minute, she'll take out her flute and then just kind of start playing music and just trying to sort of like recreate the sort of like feelings, almost that like requiem style like sense that she usually like meets with her patron under.
Okay. All right. As you begin to sort of rest into this state of being, and would you say it's kind of like is it a form of meditation of sorts?
I think for
or
her
prayer?
it is. Yeah.
Okay. All right. As you begin to settle in, that peaceful serenity begins to mute. There is a darkness on the edges of your psyche that begins to sort of close in. And not the kind that is necessarily troubling or disturbing, but almost like in a deprivation chamber. Like an absence of anything outside of self. And as you kind of close your eyes and you reopen them, you are no longer on that precipice on that hill. You are no longer out in front of Argynvostholt. You are in complete darkness, even with your eyes open. As you open your eyes, you feel yourself wrapped in this embrace of darkness. You feel yourself, and to you, I imagine, I'm going to ask you, actually, how does that feel? As this sort of darkness begins to wrap around you, and you feel completely and utterly isolated, not distracted, with the world having melted away, how does that affect Aster?
I think this is something she's felt a few times before, and every time it's always been this there's always been like a sort of resistance from her. It's always been something she's like tried to keep at bay.
Yeah.
And I think for the first time, it's almost like comforting this time that it's dark and it's that coldness, but it's familiar, dark and coldness. And it's, I think for the first time, she is starting to realize that the thing that she has been fighting against and trying to like control and keep at ends maybe does not have two different goals than she does. And I think for the first time, she's starting to see the concept of like death and what her warlock patron wants as something that she's finally open to.
And I would say that in that moment, you probably have a sense, or you start to get the sense of and maybe there was a lingering fear of death, but I get the sense that you're saying that you're almost accepting the part that death has to play. And not that there's no fear of death anymore, but death in general, you start to gain kind of an understanding of it intimately, without being dead, without actually having experienced it. Understanding almost how to type into the life force itself to both cause and possibly stop. Like you have this sort of control. As you look out into this darkness, you see nothing except in the distance, darkness that is even darker than the darkness you exist in, if that makes sense. Almost like tendrils of anti-light, anti-darkness, or anti-light. So tendrils of utter darkness begin to kind of pass along towards you. And they start creeping kind of along in an undulating path towards your chest. And as you look down, they start to enter, and you feel it begin to almost like it's constricting, and it's wrapping around your very soul, your very essence, until it kind of holds on, and then you feel it pull taut, like it's got you, like it's taken hold. And you feel this presence kind of looming behind you, looming in this space with you. And you hear the slight flutter of feathers on the wind. You get the sense that now you've had your eyes closed this whole time, and you didn't think you did. You thought you had your eyes open. As you open your eyes, immediately panic strikes as you are underwater. You take a breath as you panic, and you take a mouthful of water as it goes into your lungs, and you begin to sputter and panic. What do you do?
I think at that moment, as she's starting to panic, I think she's like fighting it. Like she's looking for just like trying to surface herself or pull herself to like shore or the surface or whatever she can reach. And I think it's just kind of like blind grasping.
Yeah. And as you look up, you can see that there is light above. And as you look down, you notice that you are a younger version of yourself. You are not the Aster that you are or that you just were. And you start to flail, and you start to try to swim, and you're not able to. And just above the surface of the water, you see a looming figure with wings extending from its back. Feathery, almost angelic wings. And a dark figure in the middle. And as you look up, it looks at you and you feel its eyes connect to yours, even though you can't see its face below this dark, shrouded hood. And this figure simply puts its hand out like this. And you get this sense that it is asking you to stop struggling.
I think as I see that, and I see that reaching towards me, and I see that kind of that like younger version of me, I think like all of those kind of memories of having been here before start to come back. And I think this time Aster just closes her eyes and like lets the water pull her down.
Okay. And as you let go, you feel your stuff start to drift. You take in a deep breath of water, and it's almost calming. Like in that moment, you are just accepting your fate, whatever that is, death or life, as you drift quietly into darkness. You come to, your eyes open, and you are again on the hill overlooking New Berez, out in front of Argynvostholt. And there is a presence that you sense that is not only around you or beside you, it is tethered to your very soul. Welcome to level 3 of Warlock. Falfer, what do you do?
Yeah, so Falfer, apple in hand, having taken a few bites, goes to his quarters, sets up his bed, pillow at the end of the bed where his feet are, and pillow at his head. And just like,
are you going to explain why, or is that just okay?
No, I'm gonna,
okay, I like it.
In a sense, for the first time in the longest time, feeling like, job done. You know, like got back. Feels great to have adventured and gone out and survived the monsters, and some of his friends made it alive, and he's thankful for that.
Yeah.
And still feels somewhat, you know, like man, I really shouldn't be here, but I'm here. So I'm gonna live life to the fullest while I'm here. So he's pondering his existence and the journey that he's been on with the hags and his form, and just feeling like he has to make a turn, like something in him has to turn this corner on the darkness that he's let in for such a long time. So yeah, so that's kind of where he's at as far as his current state. Feels as though, man, I've got to commit myself to something better than the darkness that exists in this world purely.
I like that.
Yeah.
As you kind of start to settle into that feeling and kind of accept the want to change or the need to change, and like, obviously there has been nothing but, I mean, there have been moments, but it has been, I don't want to say failure, but like hardship after hardship. Meeting new people, losing people, the boy leaving Sterling, the hag and the pact that you had to make with the hag, Muskoka. Like, it's just been seemingly relentless. In the moment that you're in, what would you say gives you that hope? What would you say in this moment kind of gives you that glimmer of like, this is what I can hold on to?
Yeah, I think in the times where it's been the darkest, he looks back at his like joking nature and his ability to or at least desire to make people just laugh a little bit. He's like, he can lean on that a little bit moving forward. He feels as though, his job is not just to be a ranger, not just to decide and to be able to do all the checks to make sure that people are back safely, or to even investigate things like in a roguish manner, which is kind of his personality more than his features. He feels as though he has something to do with people's ability to make it through. So like having seen the protection of Argynvostholt under the bubble, you know what I mean, of the protection of Argynvost, and seeing things grow again, and even Noggins going over to his garden and having like this fruitful and prolific ability to grow things. He just feels as though like, what is it that I have to contribute to the light that comes back into this? It can't just be about Strahd. It's got to be somewhat about changing what's going on inside as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
In that moment, you are brought back to, and you know that your words can be cutting. Mm-hmm. You know that sometimes socially you say the things that get a groan from the room, and you tend to be like the outsider and the outcast. But you remember back to a time, and very, very clearly, immediately, a memory of you and your father kind of come back into your mind. And your father was a musician, and particularly enjoyed string instruments. And you remember, your memory harkens back to a time where he would tell a story and he would sing a song, and then you would write a verse and he would write a verse, and you would go back and forth, and you haven't necessarily tied into that aspect of that in a long time. In fact, you put it away. When Darkon began to implode on itself, when things began to go very bad, you decided to turn away from that. You kind of close your eyes and you think back in that memory, and it kind of brings warmth and that sense of inspiration to you. And as you open your eyes, you look across your chamber to an open closet door, and you see an object lying just inside, leaned up against, and it's dusty and there's cobwebs, and it's an instrument. What kind of instrument is it? Well,
I think it's a lyre.
I think it's a lyre.
Yeah.
And as you look into that space, you start to kind of, you get up, I'm assuming, and you approach.
Yep.
And as you approach, you realize it's actually a nice lyre. And some of that memory of your father begins to come back. The little things that he taught you about how to play it, simple little songs that you haven't even touched. And as you kind of lift it up and you blow off the dust, and you start to kind of find your fingering on it and begin to play little notes. It's really out of tune, hasn't been played in maybe decades. As you start to kind of retune it, I'd like to welcome you to your first level of Bard. Awesome.
So happy.
Yeah.
Jay,
Yeah.
just really quickly, I would like to give you inspiration because you were talking, we were like screaming in Zoom for a second. We're like, is he about the multi-class? But then you said, you know, your words can be cutting. And I went, Bard! I'm like, that was good wordplay. Couldn't figure out. Sorry to
Thank you.
Yes, well done.
That was tasty.
Esmeralda, as you sit in the warmth of this bath, letting the kind of essence of the last 2 days and the face meat gravy kind of wear off and clean off. And, you know, I would even say at this point, Godfrey actually brought up some herbs and some petals and some flowers, and it's incense is burning in the room. And so you're feeling for the first time in a while, like relaxed. You're starting to unwind. The knots in your muscles are starting to let go, are starting to alleviate a little bit. And as you sit in this bath, what is your current mindset? What are you thinking about in this moment?
As much as Esmeralda wants to just absolutely mentally check out, she is reliving the moments in which she realized she couldn't go back down to see if Travas was really there. And she's reflecting on her really rocky relationship with Van Richten. He has been such a pivotal person in her life, and at the same time has left her hanging in the moments where she really needed him. And she feels like she really betrayed Travas by doing the one thing that she swore she'd never do, which was abandon a friend in a time of need. And especially thinking back that she knew his father and she promised his father that she would look out for him. And she epically failed. And as she's like kind of visually reliving those moments in the castle, she kind of almost like a muscle memory of, you know, she's like going back and thinking about all the times that, you know, Travas was with them. And, you know, they would joke around and the progression, I guess, of their friendship and the times where she would just mage hand smack him in the back of the head, is that spell is kind of like a muscle memory now. And as she's not really thinking of it that hard, but like as that memory just kind of washes over her, a hand does materialize, but it's not a mage hand because it's far larger. And now it gets her attention because it's huge and shimmering, and the power from it is resonating out to her. And she knows that this isn't just a mage hand as she accidentally cast Bigby's hand.
Very good. Very good. And in that moment, you realize that even in the ways that you feel that you failed, whether it be Van Richten, whether it be Travas, whether it be Erasmus, the people that you couldn't save, you kind of realize in that moment that a lot of that had to do with your own ability to overcome adversity in order to put others first. You have been in survival mode most of your life.
Yeah.
Even with Van Richten, you know, even though you were close, you keep everybody a little bit at a distance. He taught you how to do that. He told you that looking out for number one was always important, and he never let you within arm's reach, and so you always kind of did this as well. And you've done that, I'd say, you know, for most of your life, as you know you have. And in that moment, you realize that, and you get this sense about you, and that your essence and your ability is that to take care of yourself and to make sure that you're okay is the first step in making sure that others are okay. And you get this sense that you could actually tap into, in the future, just like when you got whisked away by that fog when Travas needed you, or when you couldn't rescue Erasmus from certain fate. You realize in that moment that through your blade song, you can actually have the ability potentially to absorb damage rather than deal it. And then reduce it as you gain your Song of Defense ability as part of a blade song.
Level 10, baby.
Level 10. Welcome everyone to level 10. As you're all doing this time, the evening begins to settle in. It starts to get quiet around Argynvostholt in the manor. You know, it starts to get a little cooler as the evening begins to settle in. And before he left, Sterling mentioned that he was going to go attune to the Sun Sword. He was going to take the Sun Sword back to his chamber, and he was going to attune. That was his kind of next step for the evening. You all kind of finish your bath, Esmeralda, and all of you are feeling, you know, a new sense of inspiration, whatever that may come from. As you all start to settle in for the evening, is there anything you would like to do before you go to bed? You have a meal, you all kind of gather, you all reminisce about over the last 2 days. You all discuss potentially your newfound abilities and the things that you've learned. I'm assuming Falfer shows everyone his lyre. Sorry.
Yep. Check it out!
Is this supposed to sound good?
Leave it to Falfer to find a way to be even louder than he already.
You know it.
Wait, are you actually going to be carrying that thing around now?
Of course. I can't leave it here. I have to bring it with me.
Is it like family heirloom or something, or?
Yeah, where did you find that thing?
Eventually, of course, when I have children, I will pass it on to them. It's bound to become very useful for us in our adventures moving forward. Don't worry, it will be very, very good that I have this. You will see, I promise.
It's going to be a good distraction.
Among other things.
Okay. Just I didn't think you were the musical type, just the loud type.
You're right. We really barely know each other really fully. But if I went into my background, which I will for several hours later by the campfire, you will learn music has always been a part of my soul. Yes.
Would you describe your musical taste as more of a Vistani kind of flavor, or what is your source of?
Yeah, Vistani music is more like a 6/8 feel with a little bit of backbeat. Mine is more like 4/4 pop music.
Wow.
Yep. I mean, yep. Wow is right. You wait.
I'm sure we will all be hearing plenty of it.
Yes, for sure. On occasion, and then every other time.
It's the way I get started going in 5/8 in my head. Sorry, continue. 6/8 in my head. Sorry. Oh well, I mean that's nice. I however it's useful, or fun, or useful, or both.
I already have like a few verses for the first song I will write about you, Nuggins. So
I want to hear it.
it's gonna be great.
I am happy to hear it at some point in the future when we get out of this dream, and not before that.
Maybe before.
What rhymes with carrot bacon?
Oh, you'll be surprised. So many things rhyme with carrot bacon. So many things.
Ferret.
Ferret taking, care taking, turn taking. There's all kinds of things.
It's a lot more complicated than I that's a lot.
Yeah. Let's, you know what, I'll surprise you all with something great in the future. You'll see.
Oh, I think I'm like seeing weird. I see dead people. No, I see. I don't know. I think there's something in my eyes. Maybe it was from when we went into the temple. But could I ask a favor, Falfer?
Sure.
Could you just say yes?
We. Yes.
The minute you say yes, I like look into your eyes, and for a second, your eyes also go Galaxio like mine are, and you see, almost like a stone archway, and your body is just junted through, like a push, like you feel like a sensation that you get pushed through it, and then you're suddenly on the other side of the table.
Whoa. What just happened?
I think I learned how to go sideways, and I can like send people too.
Wait, what does that mean, sideways?
Like you were there, but like you're not really there. You like just turned the corner, and now you're like right there.
Am I still there, or am I all here?
No, I think you're there now.
How safe is that? Can he like get stuck in the middle of the table?
I don't know. Want to try?
No.
Try. Let's go for another round.
No, Ezzy, your turn. I mean,
all I have to do is not say yes. Dang it.
Not to say, it's a whole. Listen. Devils aren't the only people who deal with contracts and deals. You have to like agree to the terms.
Got it. Okay, good. I didn't know if that was like a somatic component to like you just live with life. That was like what if you had to say, but now I get it. The consent.
I'm gonna be honest. Great. I don't even know what somatic means, but yeah.
I mean, I have a terrible track record with contracts, so.
I know.
I'm thankful you asked first.
Maybe you should start asking what the terms are before you say yes next time. Just
maybe.
A suggestion.
You may be right.
Or the next time you just start playing a song without telling anybody.
See, now that's the kind of game I like to play. Yes, I'll be using all of my freedoms.
All right.
What do we do tomorrow?
When you say that, you notice that Sterling is clearly absent from this gathering. Dimitri, you know, is off talking to Argynvostholt, but Sterling hasn't come down, even though he was sent for.
Huh.
Strange.
Do you think he figured out the sword?
I don't know. Maybe he just needs more time with it.
Yes, it could be that
he gets pretty laser focused.
It might take a lot of time to like attune to it, since that's what he told us he would be doing.
Probably. Do we need to like go check on him, or I think he's probably fine. He probably had a long. His gears are probably creaky.
What do you think the sword does?
It was just like the bottom of one.
Yeah, it was just like the hilt and the things on the side. I forget what they're called in this language.
I need to get it.
What do you think it does? It's like it can't be a sword. There's no blade.
I mean, what's the sun part? Does it like summon like a sun or something? Do like throw a sun at the castle and then he dies?
Yeah, and like how do you hold it? Do you like point it with the hole outwards, or do you swipe it? And I don't know. He will, I'm sure, let us know when he comes back out.
Well, I hope he's successful.
Maybe I'll go check on him. I mean, should I?
Magic is weird. Maybe he just needs the time alone.
Also, he gets kind of cranky when you break his concentration.
That's true.
Yeah, and he Noggin's does this big old thing. He goes, "You should not bother me while I am attuning to my."
While I am cranky pants.
Yeah.
That.
Fair enough.
That was good.
I'm not that bad at performing sometimes. Maybe I'm better than.
Oh, maybe you guys start a band together.
Oh no, that could be cool, Nuggins. We could really do some damage. in
He
the
just
music
pulls off the pan
realm.
flute that he has and literally starts to play it. He's always had it on him. He just doesn't play it because he is a satyr.
I was sure that was a pea shooter.
A what? Why would you shoot peas? You eat them.
I mean, it depends on where you're from, I guess.
See, you disrespect carrot bacon and you disrespect peas by shooting at people.
I love
Veggies
peas.
did nothing to you.
Don't. I'm not saying peas aren't great. I love peas much more than I like carrots, actually.
In a good stew, yeah.
Exactly.
I'm not even mad at carrots. I just don't accept them in bacon form.
Well, you don't have to accept. You just have to eat so you don't die.
Well, yes,
here we go
that
again.
has been. I begrudgingly agree with you.
Just
Yes,
pull out
death
some carrot bacon.
certainly is the only reason to have carrot bacon. If you are dying, eat this. Only way I will eat that stuff.
Well, then maybe tomorrow we. I don't really know. Maybe we wait see if Rome comes back. And maybe if the other person ever comes back, I still think he got 8, but who knows? I don't wish that upon anyone. So,
Well, they know their way back home.
We weren't even
Wherever
that
they
far.
might end up. We weren't. But we don't know where they wound up, is what I'm saying. But we could either go and look for them, or if there's anyone else has any ideas.
Well, I mean, I'm dying to find out what happens with this sword, because it could reveal even some of what we need to do next. So, man, Sterling, I hope he's okay. Anyways, we'll leave him alone. Maybe we check on him in the morning and see how it went.
Sure.
yeah.
Maybe he just fell asleep.
I mean,
It
I
has
would.
been a long day.
I don't know if he actually sleeps. He just goes into
His sort of meditative state, whatever he does.
Do you think that when he said a tune, that he might have meant, I want one of you to sing me a tune? Or something like that? Because I can go.
Why don't you go and find out? I'll stay here, back where it's safe.
Maybe I shouldn't. No, I won't.
We just wait till the morning. We're all home. He just needs to focus on that. That's like such a big thing, right? Mm-hmm. And then maybe we can look back through. You all got that book, that note, that tome, what it was called, the thing that about Steve. We can read back through that for a bit. Maybe just make
That's
sure
right.
we're not missing anything.
Oh, good thought.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I'm smart. I know things.
That's smart. Who has it? Because I don't have it.
I believe I had it.
It's in. I think it's in our. I think we left it, but I do think it's in your room.
Okay.
We didn't take it with us for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, you all turn in. You head to your chambers, and you get the benefit of a long, restful sleep.
I will say.
Finally.
I will say I'm 100% going into a dream tonight.
Okay.
I don't know if we want to do anything else, but yeah, that he 100% has a he's going to go into Falfa's dream.
Okay. As you kind of rest in, you know how that transition happens. You close your eyes and you start to get into that trance, as it were, and you open your eyes and you see your companions as usual out in front of you. All of those that you could potentially enter a dream with or in. The one person who was there that has not been there before, because they do not sleep, is Sterling. And that is where we're going to end the session for this evening.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. As Omega does all the math right now in his brain and how that works. Thanks, everyone. Y'all have a wonderful evening. We will see you again next week as we dive deeper into all of this wonderfulness. Again, if you like what you saw today, consider subscribing and sharing and all that wonderful stuff. Let people know we're here. And we'll see you very, very soon. Bye.